Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's your Stars for Defense. With Ray Block and his orchestra, yours truly, Jay Jackson, today starring Johnny Desmond. Stars for Defense is presented by this station every week as a public service in cooperation with the Office of Civil Defense. You've seen the fallout shelter signs. You've heard us tell you about the shelter stocking program. Today you'll learn how Civil Defense is meeting the need for qualified people in shelter management. Please stay tuned. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Stars for Defense very happily presents a frequent and always welcome return visitor, one of America's top vocal stars, Mr. Johnny Desmond.
Well, it's nice to be nice to your neighbor. Step right up, shake his hand, say hello. Yes, it's nice to be nice to your neighbor. Give howdy, mister, everywhere you go. Now it costs nothing to smile to your neighbor. If it does, then it's sure worth the price. Give a helping hand to those who need it, you'll have no regrets. 'Cause the more you give of happiness, the more you're bound to get. And when Judgment Day comes rolling round, brother, you'll be set. So be nice, 'cause it's nice to be nice. One more. Well, it's nice to be nice to your neighbor. Through the ages you find that it's so. Yeah, Cleopatra was nice to her neighbors. That's the reason she had more than just one beau. Now if that queen had been mean to Columbus, that old Mayflower would still be on ice. Every history book is filled with folks who gave their very best. You remember how Sir Walter spread his fancy Sunday best, and New York would be more crowded, but some nice guys said go west. So be nice, 'cause it's nice to be nice.
Johnny Desmond with It's Nice to Be Nice to Your Neighbor. And as a neighbor of Johnny's, I can attest to the fact that he knows whereof he sings.
Well, I'm not so sure I follow all of that, Jay, but thanks, I think. And howdy, neighbor.
I just meant that you are being nice to this neighbor. Neighbor, nice of you to drop in on Stars for Defense today.
Well, I enjoy it any day, Jay. It's my good neighbor policy.
Well, this is getting confusing. Let's get back to the neighborhood of music, huh?
All right. I thought we might haul out a good old favorite of mine. Well, this was kind of lucky for me. I heard it in Paris, brought it back to this country a few years ago, recorded it, and I'm proud to say this was my very first hit record. Maybe you remember C'est Si Bon.
It's so good, why not?
C'est si bon. Lovers say that in France, when they thrill to romance, it means that it's so good. Hey, c'est si bon. So I say it to you, like the French people do, because it's oh so good. Well, now every word, every sigh, every kiss, dear, leads to only one thought, and it's this, dear. When it's so good, nothing else can replace just the slightest embrace. And if you only would be my own for the rest of my days, I will whisper this phrase, my darling, c'est si bon. leads to only one thought, and it's this, dear. Well, now it's so good, nothing else can replace just the slightest embrace. And if you only would be my own for the rest of my days, I will whisper this phrase. My darling, say c'est bon, c'est bon, c'est bon, bon, c'est bon. I say c'est bon, well it's so good. I'm all
Thanks, Johnny. Time now for a message from Civil Defense. It takes trained and capable people to run our community fallout shelters, leaders prepared to meet the problems that would arise in time of emergency, and men who know how to operate the necessary radiological monitoring equipment. They're needed for every shelter in every community in every state. And now, many of our state universities and land-grant colleges are joining in the effort to train these leaders through their organized extension services. The Office of Civil Defense now is completing arrangements with 52 leading universities and colleges in the 50 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, and during the coming year, each of these will offer 2 instructor training courses in shelter management and radiological monitoring. The courses will be taught in evening and weekend hours by regular members of the university extension staffs, who are now undergoing special training in the Civil Defense staff colleges. In addition to this, most of the participating universities and colleges will also be conducting special 1- and 2-day conferences of state, county, and municipal officials designed to give them intensive training in the basic concepts of civil defense and the relationship of the national program to their own local efforts. These conferences and courses will be held throughout the coming year. For information about them, contact your local civil defense director. Now, before we hear again from Johnny Desmond, let's ask Ray Block to do the neighborly thing, to lead the orchestra for us.
And as a good neighbor, I wish you love.
Thank you, Ray. Will Neighbor Desmond, can we count on you now for another song?
You sure can, Jay. And we've picked out one of the great Cole Porter standards for this spot. I've got you under my skin. under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me, so deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I've said to myself, this affair never will go so well. But why should I try to resist when, darling, I know so well that I've got you under my skin. Well, I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that comes in the night and repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time that I do, just the thought of you makes me stop, stop, stop before I begin. Will I sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, come on, wake up to reality. But each time that I do it, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin. 'Cause I've got you under my skin. Oh yes, I've got you under my skin. 'Cause I've got you under my skin.
For the past 15 minutes, you've been listening to Stars for Defense, a transcribed feature presented as a public service by this station every week in cooperation with the Office of Civil Defense. Today, our star was Johnny Desmond, to whom we extend our sincere thanks for a fine performance. President Kennedy has said this about civil defense. In the event of attack, the lives of those families which are not hit in the nuclear blast and fire can still be saved if they can be warned to take shelter and if that shelter is available. We owe that kind of insurance to our families and to our country. Now this is Jay Jackson inviting you to join us next week for some more good music by Ray Bloch and his orchestra and another famous star on Stars for Defense.